Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the RNCC meeting. It's November 10th, 7:10, Monday evening. Uh, The RNCC stands for Richmond Neighborhood Coordinating Council, in case anyone's not familiar with that. Before we start, Garland, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So forgive us for the late start. We had some technical difficulties. So we'll start out with introductions and President's report. If you're online, could you raise your hand if you're the president of a neighborhood council or calling in for a neighborhood council? We'll start out with introductions and reports. Garland?
Garland Ellis, President of the Richmond Annex Neighborhood Council, also Director at Large on the RNCC. Our last event was this month. We had a CERT meeting to train block captains. Previous to that, we had a block party. We had a couple of other events. They've all been starting to run together. We're finally settling down a little bit. And our next meeting will actually be next year because of holidays and rainy season.
Good evening, Margarita Mitas, President of Marina Bay Neighborhood Council and Director at Large of RNCC. We are preparing for our last quarter-end meeting this Wednesday. And looking to close out the year with a community gathering.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, my name is Ardo Rentila. I'm the chair of the West County Wastewater District, president of Fairmead Hilltop Neighborhood Council, and the chair of the RNCC. And as far as the RNCC, this will be our last meeting for 2025 here in the city council chambers. Our next meeting will be a Christmas holiday meeting, and then we'll start up again in January. As far as West County wastewater, I just wanted to let you know that I went to the mayor's conference, and there's a representative for Dolly Parton there, and yes, the Dolly Parton, and she is trying to develop a program here in California for children in libraries and books. So she's reimagining how to teach kids with books. So it's very interesting. If you get a chance, you can find her information on YouTube. So as far as the Fairmead Hilltop Neighborhood Council goes, we're going to have either the fire chief, we're going to ask the fire chief or his assistant to come to our neighborhood council meeting because it is the holiday season and there are concerns about people frying turkeys and catching their house on fire. So, yeah, it should be interesting and breaking out the old Christmas lights from 40 years ago. So that is my report. Thank you.
Lori Hart, RNCC Secretary and Vice President of the PVNC. We had a Dia de la Muertes Halloween party and a trick-or-treat, and it was well-attended, and I will defer for the rest of the Parkchester Village Neighborhood Council staff for the president.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Garetha Johnson. I'm president of the Parkchester Neighborhood Council and PIO for the RNCC. And like Lori Hart said, we had a real good turnout for our last event of the year. Thank you, Jesus. That neighbor to neighbor. So we don't have a meeting until next week, which will be our last meeting of the year. That's it.
Hi, my name is Bryce Aleman. I'm Director at Large here for the RNCC and representing Richmore Village Metro Square. Nothing to report, unfortunately, but that good news. No news is good news. And I see that we have 3 people online. We'll start with Jan and then go to the Greenbrier and then Jim and then Jim Hansen after that. So, Jan, if you would please unmute.
Hi, I'm Jan Mignoni. I'm president of the North and East Neighborhood Council and vice president of the RNCC and the newly elected chair of the Recreation and Parks Commission. We had our last meeting the end of October because our next meeting would be the day before Thanksgiving, and so we won't have anything until January. We'll round out the year with putting out, I'll do a newsletter to go out. And that'll be it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Greenbrier Councilor, if you'll please unmute.
Yes, hello. This is Vicki Winston. I'm president of the Greenbrier Neighborhood Council, and we just had our fifth event, October, on the Neighbor to Neighbor grant. October 18th, we had a CPR and AED training given by the Red Cross, which was very much appreciated. And our sixth and last program that we give is going to be a work party to put together emergency go packs for every neighbor in Greenbrier. So we're going to hand emergency go bags out with some essential items in them and a note. We're also going to have recommendations on other items they should consider putting in them. And that'll be our final neighbor to neighbor grant event. And then our annual business meeting will be in January, date to be determined. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Jim Hansen, if you'd please unmute and present.
Great. Hello, everybody. Jim Hansen, president of the East Richmond Neighborhood Council. We had our last meeting of the year last Thursday. The Public Works consultants came to talk about two intersections, and it was really good actually to have neighbors have a chance to comment on some ideas, and that was for Solano and San Pablo and McBride and San Pablo. And I believe there's three others that are being looked at, some intersections that need some work and some kind of slowing down the traffic. You kind of have to get a running start to get across San Pablo. And there's almost no white line left. So we're really glad to see this. Our last event of the year is in conjunction with our friends at Tiller Park, and the graduates from the CERT program will be doing a program on preparing for an emergency together at Mira Vista School on Saturday. And so we're looking forward to that. This is very important to kind of get people's feet in the door about what do you do when an emergency happens right after. That's one of the most difficult times. Anyway, thank you, and we'll leave it at that.
Thanks very much.
Well, I see that we have a representative from Point Richmond. Would you like to come up and introduce yourself and tell us what's going on in your neighborhood?
Thank you, Ardo. Happy holidays upcoming, everybody. My name is Philip Rosenthal. I'm the president of the Point Richmond Neighborhood Council. We will be holding our combined November and December meeting on December 3rd, which is Wednesday. Traditionally, we combine those meetings because our meetings normally are at the end of the month. So with Thanksgiving and Christmas, that doesn't work. We don't have the capacity for hybrid meetings, but what we are doing is we're having a very short and happy meeting with no complaints about bike lanes, about public works, or the smell of things in our neighborhood, to sum up the successful thousands of people that we touched this year. And then we are going to end our Zoom meeting, and we're all going to run over to the Hidden City Ballroom and have a holiday celebration and toy drive. So that will be happening, an early meeting at 6:30 to 7:30, and then 15 minutes later at 7:45, party at Hidden City Ballroom.
Thank you. I wanted to add to my report that we are still collecting warm, clean clothes and toys, new toys if it's possible. And if you'd like to donate, you can bring it up to the Hilltop Community Church located at 3118 Shane Drive in Hilltop. Moving on, we have our Public Information Officer, Rita Johnson from Parchester. Do we have any announcements?
Yeah, we just have a couple. Okay, the first one is a fundraiser for Just Imagine Kids, Tacos and Tequila on Saturday, November the 15th, from 2 to 5 at the Multicultural Bookstore, and that's at 260 Broadway in Richmond. And they'll have live music by Andre Theory, and the food will be by Jackie Jones and Massa. And if you get your tickets now, it's only $50, but at the door, it'll be $60. And the next event is the House of Loving Hands. Invite you to a Thanksgiving dinner event, and this will be on Thanksgiving Day from 11 to 3. And it'll be at the Veterans Memorial Hall, and that address is 968 23rd Street in Richmond. And it says besides turkey, ham, and chicken, they'll be giving away hygiene packs, gloves, beanie caps, and sleeping bags. And all of this is free, people. So if you don't have anywhere to go, 968 23rd Street is the place to be. Okay, and that's it. And for all those, if you don't know, if you have some information, my email is Garetha_Johnson@comcast.net. And I would need that like the weekend before our meetings. Again, that's Garetha_Johnson@comcast.net. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we get to our special guest, I wanted to reiterate, we are the RNCC, the Richmond Neighborhood Coordinating Council. We oversee all the neighborhoods in the city of Richmond. The city of Richmond is approximately 52 square miles large and approximately 115 to 125,000 residents with 6 districts and 31 neighborhood councils. And about half, maybe a little less than half, are active right now, and we're trying to work on that. That being said, I'd like to move on to our special guest presenter, Contra Costa's own District Attorney, Diana Becton. Is she on the line? Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to have a chance to share with you some of the work we're doing in the District Attorney's Office. Appreciate the invitation. And just so everyone knows, I have a PowerPoint, and you can start running that at any time. Just before we get started, though, I did want to let you know that I have to teach a class tonight. So I have a hard stop just a little before 8 o'clock. So I'll try to go through my PowerPoint quickly so that everyone will have an opportunity to ask questions. So just a little bit about me. I was appointed as district attorney in 2017, and then I was elected in 2018 and again elected in 2022. Prior to serving as the district attorney, I served as a judge for 22 years here in Contra Costa County, and there I was elected as the presiding judge of the courts. I also served on the I was president of the National Council, president of the National Association for Women Judges, which is the leading voice for women judges in the country. So currently, just a couple of things. I serve on the Family Justice Board, which we have a center right here in Richmond. And also I have a couple of appointments by the governor as well. So I serve on the State Victims Compensation Board appointed by the governor. And then I also serve on the JSAC, which is the committee that helps the governor to vet judges for our county and for Northern California. So tonight, I'm going to give you a little bit of a department overview summary so you have an idea of what our budget looks like, some of our performance highlights and major initiatives and goals for our office, and then some things that are kind of hot off the press. And then I'll be sure to allow plenty of time for you to ask questions. So next slide, please. I I put this up just so that you know that the work that we do in the district attorney's office is not in isolation. It is with many justice partners. Of course, those in government with us, like all of our law enforcement partners, the probation department, mental health, all of those entities that you're accustomed to working in the county, we are generally in some type of conversation or partnership with, but we're also in partnership with so many different other organizations. This is not an exhaustive list. It's just to let you know that we're currently always working with other organizations as we carry out the work of safety for our community. So next slide, please. This is our mission. It's pretty simple. That's to seek, serve, and do justice, and also to enhance safety for all of our residents. Next slide, please. Our budget is about $69 million for this current fiscal year. We seek grants, so we get federal grants. We also seek state grants, and we receive Proposition 172 funds, and that covers a little less than half of our budget, and the remaining dollar amount comes from the county. Next slide, please. So no surprise that the work of the district attorney's office is carried out by people. And so most of our budget, as you can see, goes to the salary and benefits of our employees. Next slide, please. So this is just an overview of some of the standard departments that we have within the DA's office. We have our Superior Court Operations. That is the division that handles most of our operations that like mental health, our trial team, our preliminary hearing teams, all of those teams that are working every day in the courts are represented there. Then special operations is a little bit different. It is not typically what you think of when you think of the district attorney's office, but there we have the attorneys that are handling our environmental work and litigation, also specialty fraud like auto fraud, insurance fraud, and those kinds of things, real estate fraud. So all of those things are housed under special operations. Community violence reduction is our unit. It is a vertical unit, meaning those attorneys, again, have those cases from top to bottom. They work primarily on gangs and those who are committing acts of violence in our community. They work very heavily with our task force, which I'll talk about after a while. We also have the homicide unit that for those obviously who take the lives of others. Our family violence division is our domestic violence. It is sexual assault cases, elderly abuse cases, and of course we have juvenile cases. Our victim witness assistance, we have advocates in our office, 30-something advocates who work with those individuals whose cases we are prosecuting for the most part. Sometimes they're also assisting victims and survivors who do not yet have cases in our office. And they are the ones who are right there on the front line, reaching out to victims of crime at a very vulnerable time in their lives to make sure that they understand their rights in the system, but also getting them to resources and support that they might need during a difficult time. And then our Bureau of Investigation is our law enforcement arm. Those are sworn peace officers who help us in a lot of different ways, some of which I'll touch on as we're going through the presentation. But of course, they help us follow up on investigations that may have been mostly started by our law enforcement partners. They also carry out our law enforcement fatal incident investigations as well. They help us follow up with witnesses, etc. Subpoena witnesses for court, locate witnesses, and that thing. So if I could have this next slide, please. So just an overview of what happens in the criminal process. We're not the first line of defense in your community, but when an incident occurs, you should be calling your local law enforcement agency. They are to come out and do an investigation. And if no suspect is apprehended, then that case is just left pending. But they can then, if they do apprehend someone for the crime, then they can bring that case into our office, and we have many options, as you can see here. We may be immediately filing charges. That would be probably with most of the cases. We might have to return the case to the agency for additional information. We have some alternative ways to dispose cases, and I'll talk to you about those as well. Or they have to be returned for insufficient evidence and further investigation. Next slide, please. The other thing I always want people to know as well is that we're not responsible, just as we're not the first person that you would call when a crime happens in the community, we're also not responsible for setting the bail or determining when someone stays in or out of custody. That is the responsibility of the judges. They have a bail schedule that they publish every year for most crimes, felonies, and misdemeanors. And then when it's necessary, there is a hearing before a judge who would determine what that bail might be or what conditions of release there might be. Many cases, especially the misdemeanor cases, are simply cited by law enforcement and released with a promise to appear in court. Here's some of our key performance indicators. We filed about 3,000 felony cases this past year. Those attorneys who are handling felonies spent over 600 days in jury trials on those cases. And then, as you can see, we have a large volume of misdemeanor cases. We filed over 4,300 of those in the past year. Human trafficking cases were filed. And then we also reviewed cases under our prosecutor initiated resentencing program. And then we provided services to victims in, let me see if I can take this down just a second. We provided services to victims in over 8,000 cases, and we helped to secure restitution for victims of about $8 million. Next slide, please. Some of our accomplishments in 2024, one of the big things that we did was to establish a centralized filing unit for more efficient prosecutorial review and charging. We had an old, kind of antiquated system in our office that had been in place ever since anybody could remember, even attorneys who've been in the office for over 30 years. And that was particularly with misdemeanor cases when they come into our office, the newest attorneys first day on the job, and they were reviewing and filing those cases. It didn't give us a very good sense of where cases were in our system, nor did we have a good ability to track those cases. But now when they come in, we have a centralized filing unit. I was able to move 9 experienced prosecutors there along with a supervisor. Each of those prosecutors are assigned to an agency. So like Richmond has its own prosecutor who they can call. That prosecutor is responsible for their cases. And then if there's ever questions, they know directly who to call and who to contact. And they can, of course, go up the chain of command if there's issues. And then it also gives us a better control internally so that we can see where our workload is and how things are flowing there as well. Those prosecutors are also responsible for training and providing new information to our agencies. We also expanded our capacity to serve and support some of the most vulnerable victims. I secured a grant from a federal grant to serve unserved survivors of unsolved shootings. And I know that's a lot of the words, but essentially, when there are often shootings within our various communities where no one is apprehended. And because our victim advocates are providing services and information to those cases that are in our office that we're actively working on, that means that there's a lot of people in the community who may have been victims of shootings or gunshots, but are not getting any services. And you'll be surprised, the clearance rate across the country for these kinds of crimes is only 32%. That means when somebody is actually apprehended for that crime and brought in for prosecution. So the clearance rates are low, and that means that there's a very high percentage of people who are committing these crimes who are never brought in for accountability, but also a whole community of people who might be traumatized who are not getting services. So with the grant that we received, we embedded two advocates, victim advocates in our family justice centers, one right here in Richmond and the other out in Antioch. And they make contact. The law enforcement agencies give us information about who those victims might be. We reach out to them so that we can make sure that they're heard, that they're seen, that they're given resources, and that they understand what their rights are when they've been victims of crime. I also secured another grant for unserved labor trafficking survivors. That's one of the units that we created in 2018 and 19 so that we can help those who are being trafficked, both for labor and for sex. And this particular grant concentrates and puts additional resources, additional advocates on those cases where we have victims of labor trafficking. I also now have a major crimes task force. The task force is one that works on violent crime in our community. Different agencies, different law enforcement agencies actually help us to staff that task force so that that task force is really working for the entire county to help solve violent crime, to help prevent violent crime. And also, they're working on major cases around organized retail theft. This is a pretty big thing for us. We used to be co-leaders of this task force with the FBI. So it was called the FBI Safe Streets Task Force. They pulled out and moved their offices to Oakland, and we wanted to stay right here in our own community. And so we secured the funding from the county to retain our building. All of the law enforcement agencies that staffed it remain with us, and new ones are joining as we speak. And again, it is a major service for our county because they are working on violent crime and organized crime for our entire county. And they also well, I'll come to that in just a second. We also secured additional funding for expansion of our neighborhood restorative partnership. This is one of our diversion programs. This one is for adults, very low level nonviolent cases. Individuals like yourselves sign up to become panelists for these cases. We train you in restorative justice practices, and then you sit in panels of 3 to hear cases from your own community. You also hear from the victims so that their voice is centered in the process, and you're making sure that they're made whole for whatever harm was done to them, and then also getting to the root cause of why the individual committed the crime and fashioning a remedy that holds them accountable, but also gets them into resources that they might need. For this particular restorative justice program for adults, we have tracked those cases to see if the individuals who complete the work have committed any new crimes. We've had 250 graduates, and only one person has committed a new crime. So we know that that is another piece and part of community safety. And then we also spearheaded the implementation of new technology for race blind charging compliance. A new law was passed that went into effect this year that requires all prosecutor offices to do what's called race blind charging. So when our filing unit first gets a case, they have to review it without any information about what neighborhood the case came from, what the person's name might be, any information that might give that prosecutor an indication of what that person's race or national origin might be. And they may have to make an initial decision about whether they would charge the case. Of course, they are going to eventually get all of the information to review, including body camera, etc. And if they change their mind about that charging decision, that has to be documented. And at some point, all of this information has to be compiled and turned into the DOJ. So our office, some offices still haven't implemented in compliance with the law. We were asked to be one of those who led the charge and kind of got a lot of the kinks out of it. So we were up and running in compliance with the law. Next slide, please. Here's some of the other major initiatives that we've accomplished. We, just like the program that I talked about for our adults, it's a restorative justice program. We also have a transitional age youth program. So first in 2019, I got a grant that I secured for youth so that they would have alternatives. And then here recently, we also were able to expand that program to TAY youth ages 18 to 25. Both of those programs partner with with the Rise Youth Center here in Richmond. And again, it's victim centered, so they hear from the victims and what will make them whole. They fashion programs for our youth to hold them accountable, but also to get them the resources they need so they don't commit new crimes. As soon as we get a building, we will also be launching an auto crimes elimination task force. They'll work primarily on auto thefts and at catalytic converters and all of those cases around crimes. We co-lead the county's gun violence prevention task force. This is another grant that we receive so that those people who are ordered by the court to turn in their guns, that we have a mechanism and also a protocol for our county in place. And I've already talked about the support for unserved victims of shootings. And then we have strengthened our public corruption investigation so that those who are in positions of trust who violate the trust of the community can be held accountable. Next slide, please. Oh boy, I'm gonna go real fast through these because I want to make sure I get a chance to answer your questions. But we also have established a cold case unit, so we go back and look at old unsolved murders that have been sitting on the shelves for years because the investigative tools have simply run out. When appropriate, we can also use new technology around DNA and genealogy to help solve those old cases. And sometimes those cases have been up to 20 years old, and we're able to finally bring closure to victims and survivors. We have a hate crimes unit that reviews cases that might come into our office that have elements of hate. We established a very popular community academy. Again, citizens like yourself come and spend about 8 weeks with us, one night a week, I should say, a couple of hours. And you learn all about not only the work of the district attorney's office, but also you learn about just how the whole justice system works. I have a night where we bring in police chiefs from around the county. You get a visit to the court, to visit the jail, sometimes the crime lab, and you really come away with a whole new understanding of how the criminal justice system works. Our sexual assault test kits are up to date in Contra Costa County. They have been since 2019. We have an electronic system in place now so that they don't fall behind. I've already talked about human trafficking. We've also made sure that when small amounts of marijuana was no longer illegal, that people who had been convicted of those crimes many years ago could have their records cleaned and expunged. And also we have strengthened our law enforcement investigation into fatal incidents. And that's where someone loses their life at the hand of law enforcement, and our office is charged with the responsibility for reviewing those cases. We issue a public report, which is also something new that happened under the watch of my administration, so that there's accountability for the work that we're doing. And you can go on our website if you're interested in any of those investigations. There will be a very thorough written report there for you to review. Next slide, please. Here's some of our goals for the coming year. Of course, we are expanding our ability to respond to organized retail theft, not only here in our county, but also on a regional basis, because we know that those individuals who are committing the crimes travel We hope to have a data transparency board up so that you can go right onto our website and see the work that we're doing, the number of cases, all the kind of information that I've given you tonight. We also are going to be enhancing our support for underserved victims of gun violence and hope to get funding to improve clearance rates for certain prosecutions. Next slide, please. Here's just some of the other work that we're doing. In addition to the cases that I've mentioned, we also are very active in our community. We have school outreach. We are also always at community fairs. You see Bear, our support dog, is there and very popular with the kids who have been victimized by crime. And community awareness. We also have a speakers bureau. So if any of you need speakers for any of your organizations, you can contact us for that as well. Next slide, please. I think it's the last one. So hot off the press, just so you know, when Prop 36 was adopted, our office has successfully implemented and responsibly and vigorously prosecuted cases using the new tools that we received. We are also, as I mentioned, combating organized retail theft and also dealing with the emerging trends like race-blind charging and AI and all of the other things that are coming our way. That's the last slide, and you can take that down so that I can answer questions from the audience.
Thank you. I know you're pressed for time, so any questions over here? We've got one question, Lori.
Hi, DA Beckton. Thank you again. What a wonderful presentation. Can you speak about the RMC codes and if if the DA office has
What kind
anything,
of code? I'm sorry, I didn't
the
understand.
Richmond municipal codes? Are you guys involved with those at all?
Not really. I mean, we're primarily, we're not responsible for promulgating them, if that's one part of the question. It could be that we might have an investigation that would involve a violation of one of those codes, but I guess I need to ask what type of code it is though, because there's a lot of codes there and I need to have a better understanding if you're focusing on a particular area before I really am able to respond.
No, my question was, we do a lot, or we talk a lot here with the RPD and the Richmond municipal codes. And it was said that part of them have to be prosecuted by the DA. So I was trying to ascertain what was the actual process for RPD to file an RMC code and where does it go up
Oh.
the chain from there?
Well, it would not be any different than any other crime that people would want to bring into our office um, for prosecution. So if a law enforcement agency has a case that they want us to review and they think it's appropriate for prosecution, they fill out what's called a request for prosecution and submit it to our office. We would review it and determine whether any violations of those codes and what the remedy might be.
Thank you.
All right, I had a couple questions. I had the opportunity to be at the mayor's conference. I think it was in Antioch where you had presented, and I thought it was interesting to have the race blind charging where you removed color from the police reports because it may create a bias. And do you remove that from the victim as well?
Yeah, so that you can't tell. So for example, if a person were to um, I don't know, say if one woman was to snatch another woman's purse, you are not going to be in. And remember, this is a state law that we're implementing. It's not something that the DA's office is leading on their own. It is a law that was passed by the legislature and signed by the governor. We're required to do this. And so basically, you're not supposed to know the race of the victim. That's why you can't know the neighborhood or anything that it came from, because you're supposed to be able to make a decision as a prosecutor about that case without relying on any information about the race of the perpetrator or the victim.
And then your assistant had talked about AI and how it's speeding up processing and research and finding files, and but it's also one less person, maybe two. Can you talk about how AI is helping your office?
Well, AI is everywhere. So, of course, everything that we do, almost anything that we touch these days has some element of AI. I mean, even if you're just proofreading a document, right, that's going to be AI. But it will certainly be affecting us in a lot of different ways. Of course, your law enforcement agencies are also testing their ability in implementing AI procedures to be able to help them write police reports. So we are also working with them to make sure that that is done in a way that's ethical and responsible as well. And then also there are tools in our office. So for example, if an attorney is doing research, of course you have to fact check and make sure that everything that you are utilizing it for is accurate, but it can help to speed up your research, for example. It can help you to organize your cases and your files. So AI is probably permeating very many aspects of our work. And it's I'm just trying to answer that in a general way because I can't be very specific unless you ask me about a specific area of our work.
Yes, thank you. Are there any questions online?
Yes, Jim Hansen, if you'd care to unmute.
Hello.
Right?
Yeah, this is Jim Hanson, District Attorney Becker. I just wanted to thank you for a really informative presentation, taking time tonight, and touching a lot of the task forces that affect a lot of different people in different ways. Just found it very enlightening. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any other questions? Any in the audience? No? Seeing none?
I
Do you
see a
want to
hand
come
in the
to the
back
mic?
there.
I know you're in a hurry to go. If we could
That's
be
okay.
brief.
Mm.
Sorry. So, District Attorney, thank you very much. Ahmad Anderson. I want to say what I'm grateful of is sort of your county world tour, if you will, telling us about what you've done, coming to the community, not having to seek you out, being transparent, and also vulnerable about things that you've not really been able to cover, but continue to do the work. I think that's important to build trust, accountability, and develop a partnership between you and the cities throughout your county.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we at the RNCC echo that sentiment. Thank you very much, Mr. Anderson. Um, Any other questions, comments?
No, again, I just wanted to congratulate you on the restorative justice, 250 graduates, that's amazing. So, yeah, that's
Thank you.
piqued my curiosity. I'm going to research a little bit more about that.
Yeah, and check us out. If the information's online, you can fill out the application there. And we'd love to have more panelists.
Thank you. I want to thank you for coming in,
Thank you.
uh,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll let you get going. We know you have another class to teach.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Have a great holiday week. All right, so moving on, we've got staff reports, and we've got RPD. Lieutenant Decius, is he available?
Yes, sir. How are you guys tonight? Sorry, my camera is a little fidgety tonight, so I'm not gonna turn it on. It's gonna keep freezing up on me. Uh, sorry about last week. I had to bounce or leave for some family things, so my apologies for having to leave early. Tonight's presentation is a little bit tapered down. We've actually been doing pretty well here in the department. So just a little bit about our staffing. We are currently at about 118 sworn. That's from the chief on down. We did have 5 new officers get sworn in a week ago today. But in that same time, we had a couple officers retire. So it's a +3, which is better than a negative. So we also have 5 officers currently in training in our FTO program. And then we have several officers in the academy, and I believe we're going to have, I think, 4 or 5. I'm not sure on the exact number, but roughly 4 or 5 starting the academy in January of 26. So we are slowly getting numbers up, and I know our recruiting team is working diligently, making recruiting videos, going statewide, trying to recruit as much as possible. Fortunately, along with other municipalities and agencies. Uh, when it comes to community events, we did have our haunted house about a week ago or so at the department. I was out of town, but my understanding was extremely well attended, as in years past. Hot dogs, food being provided for the participants. The pictures were amazing. So the staff that put that together did an amazing job, and the community turned out and had a great time. So appreciative for all of them that worked hard on that. A couple of the stats. Through last month, I'll just start off. We had 2 murders. Unfortunately, we had our 3rd on Saturday night. So we have 3 for the year. In terms of shots fired activations for the month of October, we had 12. That's a 14% decrease from the month before. And it's actually a 37% decrease from the year before at the same point in time. So some of our shots fired activations have been being reduced at a pretty decent level. Assaults with firearms for the year, we have 21. We have 174 robberies and 20 carjackings. And we as a department have recovered over 200 firearms. I believe it's 214 to be exact. In terms of the numbers for the last month, we didn't have any murders, so we were down 100%. But unfortunately, as I said, we had a homicide this last weekend. Our sexual assaults citywide are down 35%. Our robberies are down 55%. Our burglaries are down 18%, and our vehicle thefts are down 30%. So a lot of good work going on with the officers, our investigative bureau. I'll say our intel unit, who are officers that work a plainclothes surveillance type unit as a collateral assignment, which is in addition to what I'll say their 9 to 5 job is in the department, even though it's not truly 9 to 5. They work extra to conduct surveillance, help with search warrants, and things of that nature to get a lot of these individuals either identified or into custody. I'll go down a little bit in terms of the Southern, Central, and Northern District, a little bit of the stats and the percentage changes. So it's not just citywide. So for the Southern District, which is predominantly from Ohio southbound, 0 homicides in October. Sexual assaults were down 73%. Robberies were down 50%. Burglaries down 45%, and vehicle thefts down 33%. For our central area, which is going to be north of Ohio and we'll say west of 23rd Street, no homicides, which is good. Our sexual assaults were up 67%, so we went from 3 to 5. Our robberies were down 80%. The burglaries down 60%, and our vehicle thefts down 35%. And then our northern district was 0% changed on sexual assaults. We were down 25% on robberies. Burglaries were the one area which was up 86% from 7 to 14. I don't have specifics on that, but that usually includes both residential burglaries and vehicle burglaries. And then our vehicle thefts were down 25%. Other than that, with the announcement, obviously, of Chief French retiring in the middle of January, I know that the city is doing a nationwide search, and interviews, I believe, are underway for the replacement. So I don't have a time frame for that, but I know that the city is working diligently on that with the person who was hired. So we are all curious and anticipating to how that process goes. Other than that, I am open to questions, concerns, and/or advice. So please.
Thank you. Any on this side?
I have a question.
Okay.
Good evening, Lieutenant Decius. I have a question for you. On Saturday morning on Griffin and Parkchester, there was an incident. And I know that you may not have the information right now, but we're having our neighborhood council meeting on the 18th, and I'd like our beat cop to bring in the details, what was going on there. Could you help me with that?
I absolutely can. Do you know what time that was roughly?
About 5 a.m.
5 a.m.?
It was between 5 and 5:10 a.m.
On the 8th, correct?
Correct.
Saturday morning?
Yes.
Yep. I will get that information tonight and make sure that it is given to you guys.
Thank you.
Cordell?
Yes, Lieutenant Decius, you already know what I'm going to say.
Maybe
23rd Street.
7-Eleven?
Correct. Because
All right.
every couple of months, it's been like an issue because I called it in about a month ago. I have reported that individuals that are loitering outside of that business, and if I remember correctly, it has been a concern because people like myself do not feel safe going up there to acknowledge that business. It has gotten better over time, but during that time frame, it has gotten worse because people are unhoused individuals are asking for money, and I've been trying to get that property out of here for as long as I can remember. If you can, that's one issue. And then the other issue is like Palace Furniture. I be getting a lot of concerns from the businesses along that corridor, and it's gotten worse. People are hanging out there, like either before or during before the store opens, and so I would hope that there be some extra patrol along that corridor. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Decius, this is Bryce Alleman of Point Richmond. I'm sorry, where do I live? I'm in the Richmond Village Metro Square. Say the Greenway has had quite an increase in the number of unsheltered people, and with the winter coming, we're having more challenges. The unhoused population there is actually spilling onto the pathway itself. And any given morning, I take a 5K walk through there every morning. There's at least 3 semi-attended personal fires that are happening, and I also witness drug use. But the concern is that these unsheltered folks will have more health concerns as the season goes on, but also the Greenway is being used far less due to the amount of unhoused people along the trail. A lot of them are also in the Caltrains area, which is the embankment behind Target of the freeway. Although they've created the fences there, it's not locked, and several of the bars are now being removed by the residents living on the embankment. And then the people spilling out onto the trail itself are closer to the Carlson end of the Greenway. I was hoping that if there's anything we can do to assist your department, that would be wonderful.
So first of all, thank you for email. Yes, I got your email. I've already coordinated with Michelle Milam with CORE and Public Works. So we're going to start making contact with them, hopefully tomorrow, if not the next day, and getting Public Works out there to clean up as much as we can the areas which are just trash. That's kind of the whole broken window theory. So we are stepped in the right direction. I do echo the issue in terms of the health aspect, but we are starting. It's hopefully tomorrow and or the next day in terms of doing the outreach, and then we'll go from there with Public Works. So again, thank you for your email. I actually thought I responded, but I
Oh,
had
no, I understand. You have a
65
lot.
other ones,
Thank you.
so I apologize.
Can you state your name and Your question?
Claudia Citroen. I'm in the Northeast neighborhood. I have two questions, which I think is for different neighborhoods as well. City Council also, a resident brought this up with the encampments, and it was found out that this particular encampment was on private property, not on public property. Is there a chance that, I know you guys are still understaffed, is there a chance that there is a map created in teamwork with the city, which lists those hotspots where encampments are and whether they're city or whether they're public land, which you take care. Otherwise, residents get mad at you, and it's actually the city which needs to take care. Second question, is there a chance, again, to create a map which is accessible for residents in various neighborhoods to track accidents? They're currently listed as assault. So it's hard to decide. In our neighborhood, we try to get speed bumps because I live on Gaynor, we get all the traffic from the streets that have speed bumps. I know that is concerning other neighborhoods as well who are in the same situation where speed bump traffic goes into non-speed bump roads. The accident, if there's an accident map which we could track, we could actually argue where we need speed bumps or not. Like 36 is where like 5 bad accidents. Around Gaynor, we had 6 within 4 weeks or so. Is there a possibility to make this available to the neighborhood council to be spread? Thank you so much for your hard work. I see the difference in our community. You guys are rock stars in my life.
So first of all, thank you for the ending right there. I do appreciate that. To answer your first question in terms of like the encampment hotspots. So
If it's just what is actually public land encampments and what are encampments on private property? Like there was one discussion at the city council meeting where the homeowner thought it is public land, and so she kept calling you guys, and it turned out it was city. It was a private property, and the city all they did is file fines and never followed up. So it was frustrating for the homeowner because she was worried about fires.
I don't know if I'll be honest, I don't know if that's something that we would put or we could put. I do know that Michelle Milam internally gives us kind of like a list of encampments throughout the city that we address. And those are usually on the public lands. When it's on private property, then the homeowner can get involved, or if it's other property, then code enforcement gets involved. Uh, Let me look into that because I don't know if that's something we can. That's not my forte in terms of the public information stuff and what can or can't be posted, but I will find out. If I don't know, you don't have access to, do me a favor, and Lori, if you could provide her with my email address.
And I'm about to become a police volunteer, so you might just hold off and then get me on this. I like this kind of work, so
Oh, that's good.
thank you.
And then, so I just have one question for you. You said something about accidents are being tracked as assaults. Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
I'm on spot crime and then another one, and it's just listed as assault. So we can't
okay.
really differentiate, and we can't argue with the city about this.
Let me speak to our crime analysts and see what that is about. But I'm gonna look into that one as well. I obviously have access. I mean, I'm the lieutenant of our traffic unit, and I'm pretty good at identifying and locating collisions. But I'd like for you to email me your information with your phone number, if you can get it from someone at the RNC, on the RNCC, and then I can get back to you and we can work on getting that stuff handled for you. I'd be more than happy to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Lieutenant Deschus, this is Lori. I will definitely give her your email.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lori.
Hi, Lieutenant Deschus. This is Margarita, Marina Bay. So who is our beat cop? And I know that there's a rotation, but do we have an assigned beat cop for Marina Bay?
There's going to be several. So we have 5 different teams. There are 5 different beat one officers. So there are 5 officers who are, we'll say, quote unquote, assigned to that area. It can be troublesome sometimes because if people are off and we move people around, they're not always going to be the same officers working consistently all the time. But we do have 5 officers assigned there. But there's going to be times where they're going to be off and someone else is working it.
Okay, well, we're having our meeting Wednesday, so we would
You'll
like.
you'll have someone there.
Okay, and then one other question, just generally speaking, um, what what has been your collaboration with the Office of Neighborhood Safety? I mean, can you just speak high level about the collaboration with this community organization?
Like with ONS,
Yeah,
me personally, or the police department.
with the police department, because you work in
Um,
connection with them, right? With for safety, for safety goals.
I'm sorry. What was the last part you just said when you turned your head?
Does the Richmond PD work in collaboration with the Office of Neighborhood Safety?
That is not. I don't know if someone specifically does. I don't. I'll be honest with you. Like with
Okay.
ONS,
The
like
other reason why I was asking it because I was curious about. I get asked this, and of late, people have been asking me this question in the community. I'm not really sure how to answer it in terms of what the, and I guess that, it'd be good to have them out for a meeting, but to understand what they do and what if what their collaboration is with the our Richmond PD in terms of calls and yeah. So
so.
that
I don't want to speak out of turn. Do I work with
okay.
them personally? No. Do I know of officers here that work with them, like on a daily basis, have contact with them and collaborate? Not a whole lot. Would someone above my rank have meetings? They might, but I'm not involved in those.
Okay.
Thank you. Um, Before we let you go, I did want to ask if you could tell the general public how many beats we have and how many beat officers we have and how many hours they are working per day.
Um, so we have 9 beats. So it's 3 districts, northern, southern, and central, and each is comprised of 3 beats. 1 through 9. So we have 9 total beats. At any given time, we'll have between 7 and 9 cops working. So, and then potentially 1 or 2 sergeants, and then 1 lieutenant, one watch commander. We have 3 what we call watches or shifts. A day shift, which is during the day, a swings, which usually works from 3 p.m. until 1 a.m., which is my shift, and then a graveyard, which works the midnight hours. Um, and then we have the 5 teams, which some work Monday through Thursday, scheduled wise, and then some work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it's broken up in either 10-hour shifts or 12.5-hour shifts on paper. With our staffing right now, um, I'll just talk about me myself, right? So this week, I'm working 4 straight 18-hour days. So is that normal? Not necessarily. However, we do have officers that work 3 or 4, 16-hour shifts in a week. We do have mandatory overtime still, where officers are forced to sign up for extra shifts because our staffing levels and we have minimum staffing numbers in which we have to keep to ensure we have enough officers working the streets to respond to calls. So in terms of the hours, an officer can work anywhere from 10 hours to 16 or 18 in a day, and they can do that several times a week if they want to. Or sometimes they're going to be forced to work extra hours in a day, or they might just work a couple extra days in a work week. So, Ardo, to answer the question, I can't say a specific number. However, the cops are working a whole heck of a lot.
Thank you.
You're
We have
welcome.
time for one more question. Philip?
Hi, Lieutenant Dacius. It's Philip from Point Richmond.
Hey there.
Recently, I was stunned to hear Supervisor John Joya indicate that homelessness was down, almost eliminated, according to his statement. And we are not seeing that in Point Richmond, where anecdotally, our homeless population has possibly tripled or quadrupled in the last 7 months. I know that this is a Michelle Malam question generally, but I wanted to take advantage of this meeting to ask you what, if anything, you could comment about the actual homeless population in Richmond, whether or not it's growing, and if certain neighborhoods are growing more exponentially than others.
So I don't know if I can say which ones are growing more because it's very fluid. And when I say it's fluid is when we address a certain area and we get it cleaned up, a lot of times those individuals just move somewhere else. And if you were to ask me, do I believe that we have an increase or a decrease in encampments or homelessness? From my perspective and from my eyes, I would say we are pretty consistent, if not maybe an increase. That's me from being on the streets, being out and about and seeing it, and then having correspondence with individuals within this department, Michelle, Core, and whomever. A lot of the back streets, and I'll say, over like on Hoffman, we have it. Well, we have a lot of encampments on Wright Avenue, a lot of encampments, and a lot of I guess the ways that we've tried to rectify it is by painting red curbs and making it difficult or illegal for people to park. Well, that could be bad. It could be good. But in terms of, we'll say Point Richmond, that community, I think, has an uptick in it. And the reason why is because it's a quieter area. It's a little bit more secluded. And it's just a quiet area to kind of, I'll say hide and we'll try to stay out of the beaten path. I would have to look at Michelle's latest email from last Friday. She sends us an encampment list. I'll have to be honest, I didn't fly home until late last night, so I'm a little bit not up to date on that list. But I don't think that there's really any community which isn't impacted by encampments or homelessness. Some may be more impacted based on some of the movement and the just hopping around to other areas. So I can't be totally specific with you, Philip. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Lieutenant. I just kind of wanted to put that out there because we have a reputation of being such an affluent Beverly Hills-like paradise until you actually just go to any of our parks, any of our benches, any of our freeways, any of our public spaces, and you see people who desperately need help, and you see open drug dealing constantly. So thank you so much, Lieutenant Dacius, and thank you for working such painstakingly long hours.
Thank you. Thanks again, and hope to see you at the Christmas party. And so thanks for your presentation. Moving on, we
Thank
have
you.
the fire department. Anyone from the fire department?
Yes, is that Mike?
Yes, Mike Velasquez, the battalion chief with the Richmond Fire Department.
Please go ahead.
Let's
We
see.
having audio issues?
Here we go.
Mike, you there?
Yep. You got me?
Yes, we've got you on camera now.
Okay, great. Hi, good evening, everyone. Not much has changed over this last month in regards to staffing and whatnot. What I do have for you is some incident updates in regards to our structure fires. We had 5 last month, actually in the month of September. So in the month of October, we had 8. In the month of October, encampment fires went up from 61 to 65. Vehicle fires, we increased from 5 to 11. EMS incidents went up 73. And then we had from September, we had 1,125 total incidents to October, we had 1,207 incidents. Some of our October highlights, we partnered with Cal Chiefs and UC Berkeley to conduct defensive space control burns for research. Conducted emergency operations center training with city personnel for their individual roles in preparation for a tabletop exercise that we'll be having. Promoted lithium ion battery safety for Fire Prevention Week. Also continuing to work on our EOC communications enhancement project with IT and city staff. And currently, for Mr. Rentella's question about if we're going to be having any safety tips, we're actually promoting a cooking safety campaign for the holiday season. And I have those flyers here. They will be down next to the city chambers by tomorrow. And then also you could find those on our website. And also if folks would like smoke detector installs, they are also available to request through our website. And that's pretty much it for the fire department.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? No questions? My only question is would anybody be available for a neighborhood council meeting on the 20th?
I will
Or should I just email?
to
I
our
could just email you.
and get that looked at and get back to you if that's okay. And that's November 20th,
Thank
correct?
you. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that for a specific district?
Yeah, it would be in District 4, the Fairmead Hilltop Neighborhood Council.
Okay. I will definitely get back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds like we have a question.
Jan, if you'd like to go ahead, please.
Thank you. I just wanted to check if we are doing the toy drive again this year.
Yes, we are. And more information will be coming out to that on our. I believe most of our social media will have some of that information as well.
Okay,
It'll start coming out soon. I know there's toys that are getting dropped off at all the fire stations. We've delivered some barrels at the fire stations as well. So yeah, that is up and moving.
okay, because the Richmond Neighborhood Coordinating Council at our holiday dinner will, we always collect toys there, so we wanted to make sure you guys were going to come get them.
Yep,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Just give us a call at Fire Admin, and we will schedule for someone to pick them up. Or if it's more convenient for you folks to drop them off, we're there to do it either way you like.
All right, thank you.
You got it.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? No? Seeing none, thank you very much for your presentation, and have a safe and happy holidays. Moving on to the mayor's office, Mr. Tony Tamayo, are you available?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Tony Tamayo. I'm the Chief of Staff to Richmond Mayor Eduardo Martinez. Please forgive me if my speech sounds a little funny tonight. I had a dental procedure, but nothing serious. Happy to be here today with you all. I have a few updates. More importantly, it's been kind of a hectic month in terms of food security, as well as the situation going on with the federal government. So really wanted to come in here today to share the resources that are out there. One of them is the Immigrant Legal Services and Educational Outreach. I believe you all have seen a flyer coming out of the city manager's office and the mayor's office. And if not, I'll be happy to share that with your PIO. But that's important information to send out to your community members. Additionally, it's in the topic of food security. as we know, with the government shutdown, that has been a major topic of concern. With some information coming out in the past few days that has been moving quickly. But the most recent information, and thanks to our County Supervisor, John Joya, um, basically some folks did get their SNAP benefits, but a lot of folks did not. And for those who did not or are having a hardship getting food, there are some locations that people can access food cards as well as food. One of those is 1305 McDonald Ave, but there's also listed sites from other cities. So please take a look at that. Finally, I want to just give a plug for our boards and commissions. The mayor's office has appointed over a dozen individuals to our boards and commissions, but as we all know, a lot of folks term out, and we are constantly needing new applicants across all boards and commissions. I want to give a shout out to North and East Neighborhood President Jan for her recent appointment and also becoming chair. We are looking to add 2 other parks commissioners in the coming days. That's all I have for now.
Thank you. Any questions for the mayor's office? We've got a question. Don't go away.
Hey, Tony, it's Philip Rosenthal from Point Richmond. Sorry to hear about your dental work. I've been doing the same, and it's no fun. This is kind of a comment and kind of a question. We have been really struggling with the bike lanes along Cutting leading into Point Richmond. And we invited the city manager's office to our last meeting, which was in October, because in our September meeting, Public Works said they were moving forward with continuing to block emergency evacuation lanes. So we sent a list of questions to the city manager's office, mostly about what type of outreach was being done and what type of considerations there were to the emergency evacuation lanes during the building of the bike lanes, which changed dramatically from when the council was originally presented it years ago. And then what the outreach to police and fire were. And in the end, the city manager's office refused to answer any of those questions, simply responding they hoped to do better in the future, while meanwhile they're continuing to work on these lanes. There are easy solutions that have been identified to open up the evacuation lanes to help us escape the trains and to keep bike lanes fully functional and compliant with federal and, or I'm sorry, with state and sort of county standards. We need help to bring this to the attention of the council. We do not believe that the city staff can't make changes on something because 3 years ago a council voted to approve something and then it was completely different. And then we found out that it was dangerous and could be fixed. So it's just a frustration. And I guess the question is, how can the mayor's office help to compel the city manager's office to simply answer legitimate questions without us having to do massive public record searches for hundreds of documents, many of which don't apply. So we just need to be able to have an honest conversation and not have city officials tell us, we're sorry, we did it all wrong in the past. We don't have any ability to fix it now. And the city council is to blame for everything we did wrong. And this guy doesn't work here anymore, so we don't know what we're going to say. How can we coordinate with your office to try to bring this Boulder Dash into the public light? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Philip. It's nice to see you on camera. I would say a good place to start is to send that email to me, CCS, so the mayor gets to see it as well. And I think you have my cell still. If you can contact me there as well. I do know Public Works is is out there these days, from McBride Cafe and going through all these things to inform the community. But I do agree with you, and some more can be done, and some things were done in the past that are being implemented now. But I'd say a good place to start is just forward that email to me. I don't have the specifics on that particular project, but I'd be happy to look into it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you for that, Tony. Oh, you've got a question?
Hi, Tony. This is Claudia, Northeast. I just want to update you since the mayor's office seems to be behind the news. All SNAP benefits are being handed out. All the credit cards which were supposed to go out are being held for another week. And so I know the mayor's office is not the quickest, so I just thought I'd let you know what John Joya said at 3 p.m. this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. And I did want to touch on something that was brought up earlier. I spoke to the mayor last week, and I was amazed to hear that right now there's about, was it 1,250 public records requests, and that they're being generated by ChatGPT. When people ask a question, ChatGPT steers them to public records requests. So I'm sure our attorneys have their hands full, and if you put in a request, it may take some time to get an answer. So I want to thank you for your report, your presentation, and have a happy holiday.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. Moving on, economic development.
Hi, Charles Gerard, Port Director, here on behalf of Economic Development. So I'm going to give an update from my colleagues in Economic Development. The first update is from the Arts and Culture Division, but let me first share, and many of you may know, that our Arts and Culture Manager, Winifred Day, passed away unexpectedly last week. And I'm sorry if that's a surprise to some of you. We found out mid-last week. Our thoughts and prayers go to her family and friends. She was a colleague and a friend to all of us in economic development.
Thank you.
Yep, I'm sorry for that sad news. Let's see, so Jordan Nesbitt, who worked for Winifred, shared an update for this evening. So for arts and culture, help build the Richmond Arts Corridor community survey. It's a 5-minute survey. Residents are encouraged to take Richmond Arts Corridor survey to help shape the future of art projects, grant funding priorities, programming for families and youth, beautification, public spaces, support for local artists and businesses. Responses will directly inform upcoming City Council recommendations and planning. There is a survey link. It's tinyurl.com, Richmond Art Survey 2025. Neighborhood Public Art NPA mini grant program. On December 2nd, the division will present to City Council the Richmond Arts and Culture Commission recommendations for this year's NPA mini grant award recipients. Public meetings, Richmond Arts and Culture Commission. The commission encourages those interested in supporting public art to visit the city clerk's board and commission webpage and apply to join the RACC. RACC meets every second Thursday of the month from 7 to 9 p.m. Meetings are open to the public. Arts and Culture Organization mailing list. Artists and residents can request to be added to the Arts and Culture Division email list or the Artist Registry to receive notices about grants, workshops, call for artists, public art opportunities, and youth programs. Visit to the City Arts and Culture website will be, visit the City Arts and Culture website to register and for more information. From the Economic and Business Development Team. Overall, the Econ Dev and Business Development Team are available to meet with existing and potential businesses who have questions or need assistance. Please visit the website to book an appointment. With regard to programs, the ARPA Small Business Support is almost completed. The last recipients have completed their training and will receive their grants. We will complete giving out $350,000 that supported a total of 48 Richmond businesses. The Facade program focused within Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, and Coronado. Completed presentation to the Richmond Rising and outreach to local businesses. Neighborhood councils have been contacted about a possible presentation. Looks to launch in late November. On-demand business support has launched. If you need help with your business, please check the business division's website and look for the on-demand business support, where you can find a link to our partner, CoBiz Richmond. CoBiz Richmond will provide certain services at no cost. Invitation to attend. The Economic Development Commission meets the second Wednesday of each month. And the next one is Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. in City Hall. These are open, there are open commissioner positions for those interested in helping Richmond's economy grow. Check the city website for more details. That's from Justin. And I'm pleased to be here in person. The Port of Richmond, just a few brief updates. Last month, we presented a sort of a comprehensive facility assessment that was undertaken by Moffitt and Nickel. That was well received in the sense that it generated a lot of questions and some focus on what the port is up to and some of the aged infrastructure that needs investment. Last week, we received a dredging permit to start dredging berth 7 and 8 at PPMT as well as Terminal 2. We started that process back in June, so we're pleased to finally get the permit in hand. We have to get some approval with the dredge operating program from the dredge company, but that should start this month. There's been some continued, and we're finishing up some traffic calming measures on Canal Boulevard in and around the Port of Richmond. And then the last item, just following the facilities assessment that we presented, there was a request for a follow-up by the port on the finances of the port and how the port operates as a enterprise fund within the city of Richmond. So right now that presentation is expected to take place on December 2nd at the city council meeting.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Great report. Any questions? Garland?
Yes, I saw a report that they were going to move the Red Oak Victory. Do you know where they're going to move it to? And if they're going to move that, are they also going to move the associated Worley crane that's mounted by it?
Yeah, so there has been an ongoing interest in moving the Red Oak Victory. The target location would be in the inner channel, Inner Harbor Channel, next to the WIDA parking lot. So just around the corner from the ferry landing at Ford Point. This is a long-term undertaking. Councilmember Mayor Martinez, Congressman Garamendi are all interested in that transition. The operators of the Red Oak are also interested in that transition. It would bring them to an area where there's more traffic and volume for visitors. I'll share with you that we're at this juncture engaging a consultant to do a design and a more detailed cost estimate of building a facility in that location. We'll be bringing that to council hopefully before the end of the year to get that process started. But it'll take some time to get accurate cost estimates for that move.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Charles, for that presentation. But one of the things that, and I think I mentioned this before, is the port thinking about hosting some interns, for next year? Because when I was at that open house back in September, and one of the things that kind of stood out was providing more internships, because I was in a Zoom meeting recently with the Port of Oakland, and they have hosted a lot of some interns, and I said maybe the Port of Richmond would consider, you know, having some interns on board. So I was wondering if that's going to be is in the future pipeline.
We would like it to be, since I've been in at the port for the last couple of years. We have tried to tap into an internship pool that has applied to economic development. We had one or two candidates, but ultimately they didn't pan out. They found another internship or they pursued another interest during the period. So certainly we are interested in interns if and interested in anyone that may be interested in applying for us. We're also looking at collaborating with AWC, the auto terminal, on bringing interns that might work within their processing center. So that's something for 2026.
Thank you. Do we have any questions online? I have a question. I don't know if it's appropriate to ask of you or finance, but would you happen to know if there's been any data pulled on Measure U? Since we're talking about businesses, and
I wouldn't be able to answer that. I'd have to check and get back to you.
that's fair. Thank you. I appreciate it. So if are there any other questions?
I just have, this is just about the meeting that is, I think you said it was Wednesday?
Your mic?
Office of, yeah, so I think you said that the meeting was Wednesday. Are these meetings online? Do they have a Zoom meeting, or is this in-person meeting? That's the economic. Yeah, the economic one.
Wednesday, 11:30 at City Hall. I'm sorry. I'm not sure. I can check and get back to you.
Thank you.
It's in the Richmond room. Cordell, is it online? Do you know?
Okay,
Well, there you go. That's gospel.
In person.
Yeah.
So it sounds.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Greatly appreciated. And you too have a great holiday. Moving on, Planning Department. Avery, are you here?
I am. Good evening. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Good evening, RNCC staff and members of the public. Avery Stark, Planning Manager here with the City of Richmond. A number of updates to provide this evening. I'm going to start with some light statistics. Currently, the Planning Department has 134 applications currently under review and for consideration. This ranges from a number of single-family homes, lots of ADUs, a few larger projects, a number of townhome products that are being proposed, some small industrial projects. And so if anyone has any questions particular to those in their neighborhood, please feel free to reach out to the planner assigned to that project. That leads me to the monthly update we send out regarding planning projects in neighborhoods. I believe when we met, you had indicated to me that the report was missing addresses. So we got that fixed. Thank you for that feedback. So now going forward, when you generate it on your own, if you'd like, by following the directions on our website, or when we send it out through part of our monthly updates, you can now also understand what address the work is being conducted at. And let's see, staffing updates. We are in the process of currently recruiting for a senior planner. This will be a current planning position that will focus primarily on more complex housing projects, potentially some projects that are working with large industrial sites, and some of the ongoing Chevron related work that we have within the City of Richmond. In addition to that, we also have the principal planner role, which will be opening probably in the next few weeks, both of which we hope to fill by the beginning of next year. The principal planner was the role I was originally hired into a year ago until I assumed the role of planning manager. So this role will focus primarily, if not very much so, on long-range advanced planning and policy. The city will begin undertaking a general plan update on the beginning of next year, early next year, we'll be looking at either a General Plan 2045 or a General Plan 2050 for the city of Richmond, along with other small updates to different land elements within that general plan. That principal planner would also be focused on heading up the sea level rise adaptation plan, and then focused on a number of very higher level policy objectives coming out of the state and meeting city needs in terms of understanding the complexities of land use as they change throughout the course of the year, given our legislature's very active calendar and desire to continue to push in many different ways. If it's not for housing, if it's for health, transportation, and other different aspects of life that would affect Richmond residents. And then in addition to that, I'd like to share my screen here, see if this works. Can you see that? Okay, wonderful. Thank you, staff. So we'd like to invite everyone to join us at a community workshop the City of Richmond Planning Department is hosting in conjunction with our prime for the sea level rise and adaptation resiliency plan, which is Mithun, who is helping us with understanding and putting together what rising sea levels or shoreline or neighborhoods may face in terms of growing risks from flooding, rising groundwaters, and loss of habitats along the almost 35 linear miles of shoreline within the city of Richmond. We invite you Tuesday, December 9th from 6 to 8 p.m. and it will be at the Rise Center at 3939 Bissell Avenue in Richmond. On the screen is the flyer. We will have these available both on the planning counter on the second floor. This will go into the city manager's weekly newsletter, and we will continue to share this with our community. So if anyone is interested, if you'd like to have a few printed copies provided, please feel free to reach out. I will have the virtual PDF sent out to the RNCC staff and then members, and feel free to forward to anyone in your community who may be interested in attending. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. As far as sea level rise, that is being mainly led by Michelle Morris, senior planner, in conjunction with Lena Velasco, community development director. And that will also have simultaneous interpretation, both for Spanish speakers at that workshop as well. And other than that, I do not have any other major updates. Happy to answer any questions anyone has this evening.
Cordell?
Avery, you know what I'm gonna say. So is the Chevron wine item gonna be back on the planning commission?
Oh, perfect. Thank you for bringing that up. I completely forgot to talk about upcoming forecasting items. So let me jump back. So yes, the Chevron Mart beer and wine sales will be on the November 20th, 2025 Planning Commission hearing, along with the landmark designation for the John Haley Studio House and the annual modernization compliance review of Chevron's modernization project. That will be, again, November 20th. And for the design review board upcoming on November 12th, we have a number of smaller, more regular items, patio covers, offices and studios, sheds, but we will also have a study session on the Ohio Live Work Project, which is a 7-unit live work product that will be off Ohio Avenue for consideration under the design review board. And then additionally, the Garrity Townhome projects, which is 46 townhomes, brand new townhomes that are being proposed a location that previously was entitled for the same number of units. And then in December, because we won't, depending on how the rest of November works, in December, we also have a number of items going to Planning Commission, a single family home. There'll be the Kaiser Hospital has a screening tank facility permit that's required, the Marina Point hearing, and then there'll be another single family home. And then later in December, we will have a special meeting for the Central Avenue project for a special meeting.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I spoke recently with Hilal about traffic calming, and he said they receive about hundreds per month. Is there any way you can actually make this process transparent? How many people request traffic calming for the same area, and which are the main areas where people request traffic calming? Thank you.
So, yeah, Halal is within the Public Works Department as a part of the transportation. I
Sorry.
represent planning. No, that's totally okay. So if you,
Sorry.
I would follow up with Halal as far as getting those statistics. That's not a problem.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I had a few, please, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, Avery, this is Philip from Point Richmond. I kind of have a follow-up on maybe the unfortunate or the misunderstanding that about public works versus planning. And I'm wondering, because in our neighborhood, it's all about these bike lanes. And we are having difficulty understanding how, with major businesses, evacuation routes, trains, how public works could be completely separate from the planning department. So when you do a major infrastructure change on roads, what, if any, input does the planning department have?
So when Public Works conducts CIP-related projects within the city of Richmond, obviously they're the lead for any kind of capital improvement, including things like bike lanes, new light signalization, road improvements. Planning receives all roadwork reconfiguration plans for review and consideration. Generally, we're looking at whether or not the proposed area of work will be impacted by any currently under entitled projects or previously entitled projects to make sure that there isn't going to be conflicts where if a developer is going to be putting in a new sewer lateral, for example, that happens before we repave a roadway, obviously to help reduce the needs to do it twice. We're looking at where there may be changes in traffic patterns because we have new residential projects or new industrial projects coming online that are either under construction or depending on the horizon 2 or 3 years out from being constructed. But all CIP related projects, so it could be for the redevelopment of a park, like the Borman Park, for example. It could be part of the Complete Streets work that is being done by the TCC, which is the Richmond Transformative Climate Communities, which is both a planning function and heavily carried out by Public Works in terms of actually creating the infrastructure. Carlson Parkway, for example, the realignment of Carlson Parkway, new bike lanes, new landscaping, all of those types of plans get routed to the planning department. And in particular, planning holds an internal technical review committee, which we call the TRC, which is an opportunity we meet monthly for all divisions and disciplines to share projects that are up and coming, where we need to ensure cross collaboration and review before they either say make it to the beginning of the bid phase. We're in the review process during the construction plan review phase as well, usually kind of 2 different points, the very beginning and closer to the end, because there can be many phases along the way. But yes, planning is involved with CIP projects, just the same way that Public Works is involved with the entitlement of new buildings. When new things are coming online, the Public Works staff from traffic, wastewater, engineering are involved in those entitlements to ensure that, again, as we make new connections to existing facilities or see the need for new supply and demand of service within the city, that their review of those projects for off-site improvements, again, things in the public right-of-way, are being considered as a part of project entitlement and conditions.
Thank you. Could I just clarify with a specific question?
Mm-hmm.
when we're talking about evacuation lanes, would that be something that should have been analyzed or should be being analyzed by the planners? It sounds like you're saying that that should be a cooperative effort.
Cooperative, yes, but in that instance, when it comes to evacuation, so although the planning department through our general plan has the local hazard mitigation plan and the safety plan and the circulation element, the responsibility does fall primarily within Public Works and the fire department for the review of those public improvements to ensure that they are adequate to maneuver vehicles in and out, again, in the event that you need to have a large response into a particular area where there is only one way or two ways in and out. Planning review of evacuation plans is limited in its sense because we are not the first responders that are going to be acting in that way to, facilitate evacuation. I would serve as a part of the EOC's team for communication, but here at City Hall.
Thank you, Avery.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I will try and be brief. We're running a little bit late. We have a question online.
We do, from Jan.
Yeah, I just had a question about PLN 24-357. It's a duplex that they want to split in half. Basically is what the setup is. So it's where they were doing the division would be between the two single car garages that have the same roof. So do they physically do something, or do we just, this is your half, this is our half, and we do the roofs together? Is there something? Just trying to get it, explained, because we have a couple of weird. I have one property, a 50 by 100 that's got two houses on it. So I'm just trying to figure out if people ask me crazy questions.
So it's a single family home and they're looking to turn it into a duplex?
No, it's a duplex.
Okay.
It's 815 24th Street, if that helps you any. It's
Could you recite the planning number again? PLN 24
357, I believe.
357.
Let me look here. Yeah, 357.
Okay, so it's a tentative parcel map to subdivide an existing 37,500 square foot parcel into two parcels. So this application is, so what they're effectively doing is requesting to draw a new line on a parcel map through the process of doing a tentative parcel map to distinguish and make available the option to sell one unit separate from the other unit. And so, yes, there is no physical change to the structure that you would see, but the recorded documents, if approved, would indicate where there are separate utilities for both new property owners, where there is a division between responsibilities of both ownerships. From there, the two new owners could choose to form an HOA. They may choose, they would be required to present covenants and restrictions to help us understand. Again, if you were going to redo the roof, for example, do you just redo half the roof? No, planning would not let them redo just half the roof. It would need to be the entire structure. Or paint one half green and one half purple, for example. No, planning would require a contiguous paint color around the building. So you wouldn't see any physical changes to the structure other than the ability to convey them separately through ownership. But that is an application currently under review by myself, actually, and a decision has not been rendered by the Planning Commission at this point.
Yeah, anytime there's since we had one issue with where we separated, I think it was 25 by 100 foot subdivision from a much larger parcel, and it's sitting there now as a vacant lot because they couldn't do what they wanted to do with it. So I keep an eye on anytime anybody wants to separate two parcels. I'm like, what is this? And then I looked and I went, It's the duplex, and it's got like a, I'm looking at it going, oh my God. So
Yeah.
it doesn't scare me as much as when they say, oh, can we do, yeah, because we have a
Yeah, you
25.
you wouldn't notice a difference. If approved, it would not, you wouldn't physically see any difference on that site.
I just hope they like each other, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you. We're running up against the clock, but I wanted to get a couple questions going. Why are these projects not coming in front of the neighborhood councils anymore? In
If
particular, go ahead.
we, again, highly encourage applicants to reach out to their neighborhood councils. We inform them of their neighborhood council for which their project is located within. It is incumbent upon them to then reach out to have those scheduled at the neighborhood council meetings.
Okay, we've got, in my neighborhood, we've got somebody asking for a fence height exception. And most of the neighbors are not in agreement with it. It's in the Fairmead Hilltop neighborhood. And I didn't know that you can ask for a fence height exception, meaning can you go 12 feet, 16 feet, whatever. But I also wanted to say that Chevron and Hilltop, they had their tobacco license pulled, and now they're asking for a liquor license. I don't know why they would be able to get a liquor license if their tobacco license was pulled. And if you were, I don't know if you're aware of that. And also, the Grandview Independent did a story of the Garrity project, 45 units. There was a sign posted out there saying that there's a state law limiting the number of public hearings a city can hold on housing proposals. Is that true?
Correct. So I can address the Garrity Way project. So there is a limitation under SB 35 that the number of public hearings the city can hold related to a project's entitlement is 5. This will be the first hearing for that item at the Design Review Board this upcoming week. The second meeting would be the public hearing of the Planning Commission. And so we've left room in the event that the application is appealed or continued, that we would stay well within the 5 meeting requirement of the state per SB 330.
Okay, and before I let you go, I can't let you go without asking about Hilltop Mall.
I've
Can
been
you
waiting
tell
for your
us?
email. I haven't gotten anything from you. So if you'd like to set up a meeting, you're more than welcome to reach out and we can set something up.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Mhm.
I appreciate your presentation.
You're very
Uh,
welcome. Thank you, everyone. Is
Before
there
we
any
let
other
them, any
questions?
other questions? No? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Have a good night.
yep, you too. And then moving on, Stephanie Nye, Community Services, the RNCC liaison. Right, I saw. Thank you. Oh, you like snowballs?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Stephanie Nye. I am an analyst with the City of Richmond Community Services Recreation Division, as well as Public Works. And as Arto said, liaison to the RNCC. As usual, I would like to remind everybody that neighborhood councils have access to use our community centers for your regular in-person events, as well as one free annual event. Regular in-person meetings, as well as one free annual event. And you also have access to our printing and mailing services. In October, we want to thank all participants and volunteers who joined us for our Fall Festival and Floating Pumpkin Patch on October 25th, as well as our May Valley Community Workday on November 3rd, as well as some of our yoga and youth sessions that occurred throughout the month. I have a lot of new events that I'd like to announce and opportunities, and I'll focus my announcements on those today. First, we have our 73rd Annual Snowball Scholarship, High school seniors are invited to apply. Applications open on November 17th, 2025, and close on December 5th, 2025. Interviews will then be held on December 20th. Requirements to apply for this scholarship include being a WCC USD senior graduating in 2026, or be from a private or charter school in Richmond. A 3.5 cumulative GPA is required, as well as extracurricular activities, and a total of 2 scholarships will be awarded. On Wednesday, November 19th, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., join us for our annual tree lighting at the Richmond Memorial Auditorium. Enjoy holiday music, story time with special guests, and a few surprises. And bring your own ornament to be placed on the tree as well. On Saturday, December 13th, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., join the Commission on Aging and Recreation for the 26th Annual Senior Winter Ball at the auditorium. Tickets are on sale now for $50 per person or $400 for a table of 8. And then on Monday, December 22nd, join us for our annual snow day at Nickel Park from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Dress in your snow attire and bring your own snow saucer. In addition, you'll be able to make your own snow globe hosted by the Richmond Tool Library. Spots for that one will be limited, but the overall event, annual snow day, will be free. I will note that it is weather dependent, so if it does rain that day, then the event will be rescheduled to a future date. Save the date for the Meet Your Neighbors Masquerade Dance. This is something that our interns Shane and Crystal really wanted to put together for the community. I think a lot of you guys have met Shane and Crystal already. They're really great. And this is currently scheduled for Saturday, January 10th from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Richmond Auditorium. This is still a save the date. We do not have the flyer yet, but please put that on your calendars and plan to join us. And I'm also sharing an announcement on behalf of the city manager's office. This was brought up last month, I believe, at the RNCC meeting, but the Richmond 2025 community survey is open. This is your opportunity to share your experiences and help shape the future of our community. The survey asks for feedback on topics such as local services, community priorities, and overall quality of life. Your confidential responses will guide city leaders in improving programs, policies, and services that matter most to residents. The English survey is available at polco.us/Richmond25. That's polco.us/Richmond25. And there's also a Spanish version at polco.us/Richmond25ESP. If you have any questions about this survey, you can contact Patrick Seals at the city manager's office, or just call the city manager's office general line at 510-620-6512. And lastly, I wanted to announce that the Richmond Annex Senior Center is introducing a new adaptable Zumba class for those who want to exercise but can't stand for extended periods of time. Classes will start on December 3rd. And will be first and third Wednesdays from 12:30 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. at the Annex Senior Center. And if you have any questions, please contact our registration office at 510-620-6793. And if you'd like to contact me, 510-620-6563. And that will conclude my announcements. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
None online. Okay. Well, thank you for your presentation. We'll see you at the Christmas party. All right. And then moving on, I understand that Carlos Castro is unable to join us tonight from Public Works. So we'll move on. And there's a rumor going around that he may have been moved up. Yeah, so we'll see. If that's true, we'll miss him. Yeah. So moving on to old business, we really don't have any old business to discuss. New business is we're having a Christmas party, December 8th, 2025. As I stated, this is our last meeting here in the city council chambers. And our next meeting will be January 12th, 2026, 7 p.m., which is a Monday evening. And before we adjourn, I'd just like to ask if there's anyone that would like to say something besides Cordell. No, Cordell?
And just for that, I did have some ideas for 2026 as far as speakers. So as I mentioned last month, is to consider inviting Cindy Howell to come speak to us about diabetes, because this is a very serious topic, because it's like this affects for seniors. It's like, because I had mentioned it to her, and so I told her that I will be talking to you all to see if that's possible to invite her to like come for late February, early spring. And then the other topic I had was is to consider inviting let's see, Logan Robinson to come speak to us at a later time to tell us more about home match, because when I was reading this article recently about like, you know, seniors feeling like isolated, and I said this is appropriate because she came to the workshop that was held last month at the auditorium, and I said that this is appropriate for her to come talk to you all more about the program. So that's just food for thought.
Thank you, thank you. Yes. Moving on, anyone online have their hand up for?
Jan, go ahead.
Just me. I just wanted to remind everyone tomorrow is Veterans Day. It's a legal holiday. The city will be closed. Just so everyone's aware, no post office, no all that fun stuff.
Yes, thank our veterans. Garland, go ahead. Yes?
Ardo neglected to state the Christmas party's at the Senior Center on McDonald Avenue.
There was a reason for that, but that's okay. Well, I guess this is the part where we adjourn. Once again, it's Monday, November 10th, and it is 9:09. And I want to thank everybody for coming, and have a safe holiday. Bye-bye.